Well, hi, welcome back to the Electric 928. Sorry, it's been slow progress. I know I've been slack. My apologies. We'll get there.
So, what are we up to? Well, if you remember, we completed the two cooling systems for the motor and the battery. And I think they'll work, except we haven't got the car hot enough yet to see if the thermostats kick in or not. So, more testing required there. And then we replaced the 40-year-old terribly corroded brake booster with another 40-year-old brake booster, which didn't seem to be quite so corroded. And that seems to work. So what's next? I need to come up with a solution for this potentiometer thing that measures the amount of brake pedal movement. In the wrong position, it either limits the motor power or it prevents the regeneration from working. So that could be a really fiddly fabrication job for Matt and a calibration job for me. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll just take a simpler approach.
Let me show you what I've done. The brake pedal in the MG had both a switch, and that was used obviously to determine when the brakes are on or not, and a rheostat, a potentiometer, because that was used to manage the creep mode, know how much to creep forward if it's turned on, and also for the regen. So rather than build an elaborate pedal assembly, I've come up with this, a simple box, a little box I've made, and that's simply tapped into the Porsche's brake switch on the Porsche master cylinder, and that comes in here to send a signal, fire this relay, and then that relay manages both functions for the MG's brake switch, because I'm trying to keep the wiring for the MG and the Porsche separate. I don't want to start interconnecting the two looms. That I think just leads to trouble. Hence the relay to provide what we used to call a sneaker gap in the IT world. No electrical connection between the two systems. Anyway, that seems to work well. You put your foot on the brake, the relay fires. So rather than having a infinitely variable potentiometer to measure how much, I really only need two positions, on and off. Are you off the brake pedal? In other words, give me maximum power. Are you on the brake pedal? Then give me whatever regen we've set through the KERS mode here. So that's what those resistors are for, and that emulates the function of the potentiometer. That little baby's just going to get tucked up in there somewhere and mounted, as are all these things. Those speakers are going to be junked. We're going to build a nice framework in here, fully enclose this, and I suppose the speakers will go, two of them are here and two of them behind the seats. The other thing I've done is I've washed the car, so let's have a look at it. If only to make me feel a little bit better about the thing, because it was just so tatty. I mean, it's still terrible, but there you go. Rightio, what's next for the Stable Genius? I think what we should do is, if we're going to do some road trials of the car, I don't want to just trust this thermostat to turn the fan on, because I've never got it hot enough yet to turn the fan on. I'd like a switch on the dash. I'd have a little double pole switch here so I can turn the fans on whenever I want, because I know the pump's working. The pump's working right now, I can feel it. So it's circulating coolant, that's good. So I figured out, I reckon from the diagram, if we short this, that should turn the fan on low, and it does. And this one high. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll run some wiring forward. We'll take my little dash fascia plate, we'll put a double throw switch with the center off position, so I can go fan automatic, fan low, fan high. So I can turn that on anytime I like. Good plan. And then we'll do the same for the battery in the front, because I want to be able to make sure the pump's on for the battery and the fan as well.
Now, if I've got the brake resistances right, we should get full power. So obviously, any excuse for a blast up the driveway.
Let's see what we get.
And yeah, it seems to be okay. Now, gentle viewer, I owe you an explanation why it's been such a while since the last episode. Matt has been busy, as usual, but unusually, I've been busy too. First, I got invited to the Sydney Concours d'Elegance. It was meant to be the all-electric day, so I was expecting to see this kind of thing, but what I didn't expect, heaps of incredible petrol cars from the previous days were still there. Oh my dear Lord of blessed acceleration, you should have been there. Magnificent multi-million dollar cars. This better than new Miura, just back from a nut and bolt full rebuild in Italy, better than new. And honestly, I was weak at the knees when I saw this genuine, one of only 6 ever made, Porsche 91730 Can-Am monster, complete with its twin-turbo flat 12 and 1,500 horsepower. Yes, and one of Jack Brabham's cars in mid-60s Formula 1 trim, complete with its Repco V8. Honestly, if I could own just one indulgence car, it would have to be one of those two. Now, I would like to make a video about that event when I get time, so if you want to see it, I suggest now might be a good time to subscribe. You know the drill.
Do you feel back at home there, Spencer?
Well, I've driven a lot of racing cars, but I've never driven a car. I've never had too much horsepower, but I think I might have met my match with this one.
Anyway, then I worked at the Everything Electric Expo for a few days, where I had the rather fun job of doing laps of Olympic Park so punters could experience the punch of the MG4 X-Power. It was a fun job, and checking out all the latest EVs as well, many of which I'll try to review on the channel, like this Geely EX5, and the long-awaited Volkswagen ID range finally got to Australia, and this classic electrified Carmen Ghia. But maybe not this thing, whatever that is. Anyway, it was a very cool week. But best of all, I got to meet somebody I've long admired, Robert Llewellyn, who runs the Fully Charged channel. I'm sure you've heard of him. But to me, though, he's best known as the character Crichton from the British Red Dwarf TV series, which I really enjoyed decades ago. So I was quite chuffed to go and have a bit of a chat and tell him about my 928.
As you know, I'm a big Crichton fan as well, so do you want to say anything in character as Crichton?
I find it very difficult without 3.5 kilos of rubber on my head.
Okay, well, we won't then.
I could call you a Smeeg. A Smeeg. He's a Smeeg. He's a Smeeg. He's a Smeeg. He's a Smeeg. Hey! That's about as good as I can.
You know, that character, there was such nuance, because he was so capable and knew everything, but also so blunt.
Yeah.
But at the same time, neurotic.
Deeply neurotic.
Had deep insecurities. And I don't know how much of that was in the script and how much was your character.
Quite a lot of it. It's a very either cruel or clever, gentle mix of the two. So, certainly Doug Naylor, who writes the shows, would listen to us talking together. And I do like doing laundry. I've got 3 different vacuum cleaners.
Now, I've got 3 Porsche 928s, and I'm converting one to electric.
Right.
I bought a crashed MG ZS, and
wow.
I've taken everything. So I'm not building a hypercar.
No.
I'm just building a daily
car
driver.
That can actually
for
drive
myself.
around. Very good. I would love the majority of road users to be electric vehicles. So I am very pro keeping classic cars, keeping old. I'm a member of the Bugatti Owners Club. I've never owned a Bugatti. I'm an honorary member. And these are cars that are nearly 100 years old in some cases. And I think it's critically important to keep them and keep them going as petrol cars, because I want future generations to see how that technology developed. It's historically important, and it's particularly sort of classic cars, old sports cars. They're fine. Don't worry about them. Keep them as they are.
Well, it's my project's polarising people. There's the Porsche guys that go, oh, you've ruined a 928.
Yes.
And I've gone, no, this is a car that was only going to go to scrap. It was a wreck. It was never going to get back on the road.
Right.
I bought a crashed MG. I've taken the front-wheel drive motor out the front, put it in the back.
Fantastic.
I sold all the petrol stuff.
Wow.
The car went from 1,500 kilos down to 900.
Wow.
And now, when it's finished, it's going to be 1,400. So it's actually going to be lighter than any petrol 928.
That's fantastic, yeah.
And then that's the major argument. People come to me and go, oh, but you're ruining the roads with your heavy EV.
Yeah.
And you go, no, it's lighter than any 928.
Yeah.
And it's just as fast.
Yeah.
Because even though it's a low-powered motor, I've got the torque off the line.
Yeah.
And in this country, as you know, because you drive here a lot,
Yeah.
the speed limit 110 k's, there's no point having an autobahn car.
It's ridiculous.
So I know I'm lecturing the converted
No,
here, but I just
absolutely.
wanted to share with you my project.
No,
because
that's very good. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
No, good luck with it all.
Next year, maybe we'll have it here.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah,
And
you
you
bring
bring-
it along. Yeah. No, I'd love to see it.
But also,
Very good.
I do want to say thank you so much for being the driving force behind Fully Charged and now
thank
everything
you.
electric. You know, it's
Well,
a pleasure.
I was the founder rather than the driving force.
Oh, you're a driving force.
It's very
You're-
good.
So anyway, let's get back to the 928. We're almost ready for some proper circuit trials, but not until Matt and I get the power steering working.
Where's the power steering going? Here. This is a good access point. That whole electric pump can go there. Make up some fittings. That's on Friday.
So we have pump here somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll try and aim it towards. Then we just can put a straight fitting on. Up there
To the rack.
to the rack.
To these fittings here.
Yep.
Return and pressure. Yep.
And I've trimmed the base of the factory
bracket, some angle,
Oh yeah.
just because it's heavy.
Yep.
I'll weld that back to back. We can weld it to this because it's fixed to the chassis.
I-
We'll have
I-
this ready to go today because we've got the fittings.
Yep. I've got to do all the electrical side of it though.
Yep, we'll get the hydraulics done
Yep.
because we can order the, once we have that in,
Yep.
we roughly know it's going to be here. We can measure our low pressure hose.
Yep.
So we've got this fitting which should fit this pump. Like O-ring face. So that'll fit in there. But we'll use the original low pressure line, and we'll just, which is the same diameter as this return.
Yep.
So that'll sort our low. So yeah, we'll drop the sway bar. We'll at least try and get this sorted. So then
Yep.
we can get a hydraulic hose made today.
Then will you run it just down one of these rails? or-
Yeah, maybe like up. You know, we've got all these clips here.
Yeah, yeah.
As we'll utilise them.
And these cobwebs will hold it as well.
So we'll weld this bracket.
Don't you love Matt's confidence in these things? I love his go-to attitude.
Get it done.
We need more Matts, that's what we need. Have you got a twin brother?
You don't want more of me.
You going to be involved in the trials when we take it out and drive it?
Oh, I don't know if I'm brave enough. Should have a weld in there. And it's removable. That's like 23.30. Because it's quite stiff hose. It doesn't flex like the low pressure, so we want it a little bit longer. We can make, take it up a bit before it comes down.
Yep.
So
Too short is bad, too long is just a little inconvenient.
yeah,
So 2.5?
I'd say go that 2.5 because it doesn't just mould round like we think.
Yeah. So you've had to make that up because the fitting that I bought wasn't quite right because I didn't listen to your instructions, did I?
Oh, we just bought a banjo, so this will fit. So we'll get him there and we'll run that back.
What sort of pressure did that run at?
Well, this hose is rated to 2600 psi. I don't know, pumps go somewhere near 3000. Might be a bit less for this. I don't know the exact spec, but
But it's a lot.
it's a lot, yeah.
So our clearances are really tight between this battery box rail, the steering knuckle, the rack, roll bar.
Yeah.
It's all pretty tight in here, but that's good. That's perfect.
So we can run.
And I've tucked my wiring a bit more out of the way for at least it's good enough for testing.
Yep.
So that's all good now. And here's your new pump. Beautiful. So I've just got to do the electrics for the top end of the pump.
And by golly, Matt does have a twin brother. Here's Matt 1. And there's Matt 2.
Alright, so what have I got to do? Power steering looks great. All I've got to do is just hook up some wiring and it should self-bleed, get some fluid.
So even though the power steering's not operational yet, I asked Matt to have a quick drive just to check out the brakes, since we fixed the brake booster last time.
Righto. See you in a couple of hours.
Yeah, on the M1.
Left one, you push forward and you should go to sport mode.
Yep.
So it should show S instead of N.
Sport mode active.
Okay.
Does it have full throttle at the moment?
We'll find out. Looked like it went pretty well to me.
Feels good. Yeah,
How
it
does
feels like once it starts moving,
Yeah.
it moves quicker and quicker. Like
Yeah.
it's like a rubber band.
Yeah.
Like the off the line, I feel like it went quicker before. But it's once I've got to like say 30 or 40, it's like it just pulls more and more.
Yeah.
I feel, but it goes good.
I mean,
It's real like the buzzing because everything's open.
yeah.
It's awesome because it feels like it feels like a remote control car. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
you feel like you're in one of those electric go-karts. We need to get it on some grass because I reckon it would just be dance everywhere.
It would. Well, bear in mind when the MG was running, it was on skinny tyres,
Yeah.
front wheel drive, and we had no weight in the front because we'd removed half the stuff. So Porsches are renowned for their traction. This thing squats and it goes, so it won't wheel spin because it's got, you know, big sticky new rubber.
Now, 40 years ago, any car that could do a sub 14-second quarter mile was really quick. These days, not so much, but it's gratifying that the electric 928, at low speeds anyway, is quicker. Can it maintain that advantage at higher speeds? We'll have to go to a track to find out.
Matt, good job. Thank you for your time today.
At least we got that in.
What do you think about enclosing the engine bay? It can be just at that height, all the way forward and then down. Obviously, we do want to enclose this entire thing so it's notional engine compartment.
Yeah, we'll probably just build that frame like you say, and then we'll just suspend it where it needs to be and just build between the frame and the chassis. Put some braces in.
Because we'll put so much sound deadening material on it and then carpet on top.
Yeah.
Do you want to be one of the test drivers?
Yeah, we'll give it a test drive.
Just take it round and round and round, see how hot we can get it.
That's right.
And now I've done my fans. Look, viewers, they're not labelled yet, but let me show you. So that's low, automatic with the car managing it, and high for the engine, and this one for the battery. Power steering tank and pump below it. We have power, fused at 80 amps, negative, and we've got ignition there. So in theory, all we need to do is turn on the ignition and the thing will burst into life. All right, we better just get some fluid ready. Now the question is, which fluid do we use? Because the Astra system, this uses LDAS fluid, which is a synthetic, but the Porsche uses Dextron, which is mineral. Now, I've checked, and I believe they are physically compatible, although you don't normally mix mineral and synthetic oils, but I believe it's okay. So we're going with Dextron 3 rather than the LDAS, because if something's going to give up, I'd rather it's the pump that gives up than the rack seals. Okay, that one's full. All right, moment of truth. So, one's for accessories, second one for ignition. There's a pause. I hear sounds. Okay. Presumably that's filling the rack up. Nicely weighted steering. Oh, that is beautiful.
Now, really interesting to note, even though when I'm winding on the steering lock, I know the power steering's dragging 40 or 50 amps, or maybe even more. There's virtually no load on the battery, which means the traction battery, the 400 volt battery, is doing the heavy lifting through the DC to DC converter, which is good.
Sorry?
Keep it under 130.
I'll keep it under about 15 k's an hour.
Well, the steering is absolutely delightful, but unfortunately the suspension feels like I'm riding on a horse cart. It's terrible.
Feel that? How it's shocking. Literally. What's the technical word I'm looking for? Rooted.
In fact, the entire suspension's rooted. So yeah, next stop, shock absorbers, and maybe springs as well. I guess we're going to need a set of coilovers. Coney, IBAC, KW, Bilstein, or some other brand. Who knows? I don't. Let's find out next time.
Okay. So all looking good, no leaks. The only bad thing that happened is that as Matt fanged up the driveway, he'd taken off these brackets on the roll bar, so the whole thing sort of fell out. So I just got to make sure they're done up and tight. Put them back in. Yep. All right. So next episode, folks, I think we better put some shock absorbers in the car, and then we can take it to the track. And then I think we better get back in touch with our engineer and get him to come and have a look and see what we've done, and hopefully give us the nod of approval so far, so we can carry on. Thanks for watching. It's been emotional. Oh hey, you made it right through to the end of the video. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please share it with your motoring friends, and above all, click the little subscribe thing down here
so you can see the latest videos when we bring them out, hopefully each week. I look forward to seeing you soon.